truck a ways back. It slid. Oh my God. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Hobart, where we strive to put love at the center of how we show up in the world. My name's Barb Langle, and I'll be your worship associate this morning. So welcome to you, old friends and new, young and old. You are an essential part of our celebration today. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are here with us. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, and all loved. Just as you are welcome here. Today, our worship service will be led by our own Sandi Waters. Since not everyone can attend in person, we are streaming this worship service online, and we extend a special welcome to all of those watching us virtually. Another way we walk together is by joining together in fun and fellowship. So to be sure we include your announcement, always make sure to send it an email to the Spark by Wednesday. Look for our weekly Spark for more announcements. If you don't already receive the Spark, please fill out a visitor form in the parish hall so we can make sure you receive it. And from the Spark, I will tell you things going on in the next couple weeks. Tuesday, the 27th, 2 days from now, at 11 a.m., all are welcome to bring your current project or learn how to knit or crochet. It's needlework with Kathy. Thursday, Adult RE, Thursday the 29th, UU History 101. At 1 p.m., Reverend Kathy leads a series of 7 classes that approach UU history from the starting point of compelling stories and personalities. Week 1 topic, a question of conscience. And Saturday the 31st is Embolic as a festival marking the beginning to notice the returning of the earth. Wednesday, February 4th, on 5:30 p.m., we have Peace Vespers. Here at 5:30, you have soup and bread, followed by 6:30 service, mindful meditation, inspirational readings, and communal prayers for the world. February 6th, Friday, potluck and game night. And 2 Sundays from now, Super Bowl cook-off, February 8th. You could bring your soup, sign up in the parish hall, or eat soup, a bottomless bowl for $5, sample all the soups, and enjoy all you could eat. But don't forget to bring extra dollars to vote for your favorite soup. And all proceeds go to the church. If you want to make soup, there's a sign up in the parish hall. Everybody'd like to know how many we have so they could get everything ready. Yes? What?
We're going to have a vigil today at 1:30 at your church for stand of solidarity with Minneapolis.
Okay, there's a vigil today at 1:30 outside the church for all that's happening in Minneapolis, right? Try to come if you can. Now, it's Please take a moment to greet your neighbor. Really greet your neighbor. Say hello. Say hello to someone you don't know. Now, please take a moment to turn off or silence your devices. And as you do so, allow yourself to enter into sacred time together. Take a deep breath. And another. And join in the spirit of reverence.
Each week, during our Sunday morning worship service, we join together in reciting the words of our affirmation of faith, which is printed in your order of service and which appears on the screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament. Service is its prayer. And this is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
The flaming chalice is a symbol of Unitarian Universalism. It suggests the transformations that take place when we are held together within religious community. When we light the chalice in worship, we illuminate a world that we feel called upon to serve with love and a sense of justice. Now please join me in lighting our chalice by reading the words together on the screen or in your order of service. We gather this hour
As people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs, we light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
Now please stand for the doxology.
From all that dwell below the skies, let songs of peace arise. Let peace, goodwill, honor be sung through every land, by every tongue. Amen. I have no opening words because I left them on my printer at home. It's been a crazy weekend, so let us just proceed, please, to the opening hymn as we carry this flame. The words will appear on the screen, and it's not in either of the hymnals. The story this morning is All Are Welcome by Alexandra Penfold. In looking for a story for this morning for the service, I had a little bit of a hard time finding anything in my library or anything elsewhere that had anything to do with an old church. So this is kind of a metaphorical story about school that I'd like you to apply to our church. Pencils sharpened in their case, bells are ringing, let's make haste. School's beginning, dreams to chase, all are welcome here. No matter how you start your day, what you wear when you play, or if you come from far away, all are welcome here. In our classroom, safe and sound, fears are lost and hope is found. Raise your hand, we'll go around. All are welcome here. Gather now, let's all take part. We'll play music, we'll make art. We'll share stories from the heart. All are welcome here. Time for lunch. What a spread. A dozen different kinds of bread. Pass it round till everyone's fed. All are welcome here. Open doors, rush outside. We will swing, we will slide, we'll have fun side by side. All are welcome here. We're part of a community. Our strength is our diversity, a shelter from adversity. All are welcome here. We will learn from each other. Special talents we'll uncover. There's a big world to discover. All are welcome here. So much to learn, so much to do, and when the busy day is through, can't wait to come back, start anew. All are welcome here. Head for home to get some rest and greet tomorrow, ready and fresh. Our time together is the best. All are welcome here.
Each week, we share a portion of our Sunday offering with a social justice cause outside of our church walls. This month, we've been sharing with the Northwest Indiana's Organization for Women Equity Project. It places free pads and tampons directly in high schools and middle schools in our community. We are going to change it today, though, just this one time. Sometimes things happen, and we want to make sure we're right there fighting along with everybody else. But we will be collecting, would have been the last week of this month, but we will still be collecting the products for 2 more weeks, and there's a box in the parish hall. Please bring all you can. That's important too. And I want to invite our Reverend up to talk about what we're doing this week. Only this week. Give, give, give.
Thank you. Good morning. I just returned from Minneapolis, Ground Zero, and I realize I think I'm a little traumatized. I have a little PTSD and I haven't processed it fully. I was boarding the plane to come home and learned about the murder of Alex Prater. Some of my colleagues who hadn't left yet stayed. There were 1,400 plus clergy from all over the country, from all faiths. There was no division. There was no time to debate theology. We were all together. So I just want to say that First Universalist Church and St. Paul, Unity, St. Paul, Unitarian are really exhausted. Everybody's exhausted. They're just tired. And so I want to see if we might support First Universalists. They're the smaller of the two. And I brought this back. It was quite an experience. I'll talk more about it next week. But First Universalist Church is right they were there with just a few blocks from George Floyd. They're right in the Ground Zero. Thank you. Thank you for your support.
So the donations in the baskets go to sustaining the mission of our congregation, and the cup goes to what Reverend Kathy just talked about. For those not with us in person today, there's an online link for both one-time and regular donations. I would like 4 volunteers to come forward and carry the baskets and cups. your prayers, your presence, your service, and your gifts. We are truly grateful.
In the center of our service and in the center of our lives, let us now pause to honor the silences of the world. Let us open our hearts to the place of quiet, the silent prayer for the healing of pain, and the soft, gentle coming of love. I will invite you to light a candle of memory or hope, or just sit quietly as the music holds you in a meditative space. May they feel the warmth of our embrace. Joys and sorrows is a time to share personal joys that you are celebrating so that we may celebrate with you as a community. It's also a time to share personal sorrows that weigh on our hearts so that we can support one another in our times of sorrow or grief. Keep this in mind and be aware that this part of the service is not broadcast and excludes our online members, friends, and visitors. Roz will now bring the microphone around to you. Please state your name before speaking your joy or sorrow. With gratitude for all that has been shared and for all that lives on in the silent sanctuary of our hearts, may we continue to weave the fabric of this community into ever more beautiful patterns. Please remain seated for the centering hymn, number 1058, in the teal hymnal, Be Ours a Religion.
I have a reading by January Gill O'Neill. The title is Old South Meeting House. We draw breath from brick, step on stones, weather-worn, cobbled and carved, with the story of this church, this meeting house, where Ben Franklin was baptized. And Phyllis Wheatley prayed, a mouth house where colonists gathered to plot against the crown. The structure, with elegant curves and round-top windows, was the heart of Boston, the body of the people. Survived occupation for preservation, foregoing decoration for conversation. Let us gather in the box pews, once numbered and rented by generations of families, held together like ribs in the body politic. Let us gaze upon the upper galleries to the free seats, where the poor and the town slaves listened and waited and pondered and prayed for revolution. Let us testify to the plight of the well-meaning at the pulpit, with its sounding board high above. Congregations raising heads and hands to the sky, we the people, the tourist, and townies, one nation under this vaulted roof, exalted voices speaking poetry out loud. In praise and dissent, we draw breath from brick. Ignite the fire in us. Speak to us. The language is hope.
We're going to step back in time. On this day, 150 years ago, this building in which you are currently seated has been completed and is waiting for the day of dedication on January 27th, 1876. The First Unitarian Church of Hobart was formally established a year and a half earlier on August 23rd, 1874. The ground upon which our church now sits was once part of Hobart Bay, which lay southeast of Hobart Island, all of which was part of what we now call Lake Michigan, which at that time extended down to what is now Route 30. Over the millennia which ensued, the lake receded, leaving us with deep river and deposits of sand and clay throughout the region. The President of the United States was Ulysses S. Grant, beginning the last year of his second term. The state of Indiana had been established in 1816, and Lake County had been born in 1837 out of what had been LaPorte and Porter counties, with its county seat briefly sited in Liverpool until 1840, when it was moved to Crown Point. The earliest settlers in what would become Lake County were William Ross and his wife, who established a farm along the Deep River where it is today, crossed by 16th Street. Hobart was established by George Earle, an English immigrant who sometime in the 1940s settled here on land that he bought from the Potawatomi people who were living there. In 1847, Earle bought a flour mill and a sawmill, and in 1845 to 1846, he built a dam on the Deep River, creating Lake George, which he named after himself. Lake George became the largest and best-known mill pond in the Calumet area. While he originally named the settlement he had established Earle's Mills, he renamed it after his brother, Hobart, who continued to live in England. Hobart did not incorporate as a town until 1889, but it was a thriving community long before that. The first brickyard was built in 1863, taking advantage of the deep and rich clay that underlay the area. In no time at all, 4 brickyards were operating in Hobart, and their goods were transported throughout the Midwest and beyond by 3 railroad lines that were built between 1858 and 1888. The first general store at the corner of what is now Ridge Road and Liverpool Road was built in 1846, a year after the first school opened on Center Street, a couple of blocks north of here. Although there are no formal records indicating that the people who came to found the First Unitarian Church of Hobart were meeting during this time, we know from the document relating to the establishment of the congregation that this like-minded group of people, there were 48 members present at the foundational meeting, had been meeting for some time, somewhere, at a schoolhouse perhaps, possibly the one I just mentioned that was up the street a bit. It wasn't long after the establishment of the congregation that the members of the board and fellow congregants began discussing the possibility of building their own church. They began meeting pretty regularly in a building called Stocker Hall, somewhere in each, a stove and a pipe for $11, and a spittoon for 50 cents. Salary for Reverend Carson Parker from October 25th, 1874 to April 1st, 1875, $150. And a thanks to Mr. Reifenberg and Mr. Meister for lamps presented to the church. They met again in December of 1874, but the notes from that meeting are nearly impossible to decipher. Their meeting in February of 1875 spoke to the need to get a subscription to the Crown Point Herald and noted outlays of $5.90 for seals and $4.50 for wood. But somewhere else in February, they had a special meeting in which the trustees were instructed to ascertain by the next meeting what amount could be raised toward the building of a church and present their report. And at a meeting in March, the trustees reported that $1,000 had been subscribed. Quote, "It was then resolved that J.B. Albee, Joseph Nash, J. Matthews be appointed a building committee who, with the trustees, should let the contract of a church building the cost not to exceed $1,500. Later that same day, the trustees met and resolved that bids should be advertised for to be opened on the 1st of May following. And on May 1st of 1875, they met in Stocker Hall to open the bids, which were for $1,850, $2,225, $1,400, and $2,200. Which one do you think they accepted? The bid of $1,400 by O.S. Pollard and Company to build according to the plans and specifications was to be accepted. On November 11th, 1875, the trustees met to report that assets of $1,678 had been secured from subscriptions with an additional $500 from other sources. Unpaid bills of $150 for windows and $68 for seals were presented. The money over the $1,400 was used for furnishings. And at a meeting held on December 28th, it was announced that the building would be dedicated on January 27th, 1876, and that additional bills for painting the inside of the front doors, extra mason and plaster work needed to be paid. As for the ceremonies on January 27th, there was to be a dedicatory sermon delivered in the morning by Reverend Robert Collier from Chicago, and, quote, a lecture in the evening, the proceeds to be applied for the benefit of the church, the price of admission being fixed at 50 cents, our first fundraiser. Let us imagine what it was like on that day. According to what I have been able to find about the weather, the region was experiencing a very mild winter, with temperatures reported in the 70s early in the month. So perhaps they had absolutely no need of the wood stove that sat right over there. There was probably something in the neighborhood of 60 people attending the morning's sermon, with maybe the same or a slightly larger number of people stopping in for the evening lecture. I've not been able to find out what the title is, or was. There may have been no pews yet. People were largely seated in what were called day chairs, relatively simple chairs that did not look like they were very comfortable. Was there a pulpit of some kind? Probably. Was there a stage, such as we have today? Probably not. Although the church purchased other organs over the coming decades, I imagine they moved the one they had been using in Stocker Hall to their new church building. Was it hauled up to the choir loft? Nothing in the minutes for the first year mentions anything about the furnishings. We can guess that they probably used gas lamps and candles for any evening programs, as incandescent lighting was not widely available yet. The flooring was probably wood planks, and although there is some mention of paying for plastering, it is unlikely that large portions of the interior walls were plastered. They could well have been exposed brick. There is mention of paying for windows, but the windows you see now were not original to the building. So imagine a rather austere interior with flickering candles or gas lighting, a wood-burning stove sitting along the south wall with a stack of wood beside it. Perhaps the congregants were spared the sound of wood hissing and spitting because of the unseasonably warm weather. The day chairs were perhaps arranged in a slight semicircle around the pulpit. There's no carpet on the plain wood plank floors. If there is a choir, they're upstairs in the loft, where perhaps the organ also sits. The wood paneling you see behind me isn't there yet. And of course, there's no ramp and likely no door in the corner. People are arriving through the doors, those doors, the front doors, having walked from their homes or ridden to church in buggies or carts or wagons pulled by horses. There are likely no flowers in the church, even with the warmer winter temperatures, but maybe a cast iron plant or two, mainstays of churches of the time, are attempting to brighten up a corner. There's no parish hall where people can gather and socialize. Meetings of the trustees and of any other groups are held in congregants' homes well into the 20th century. There's no sound system, but acoustics in the building are pretty good, and there's little or no street noise on Sundays to interfere with what the person in the pulpit is saying. Here we sit today in a building that would probably not be recognizable to any of those 60 or so people who showed up for the dedicatory service on January 27th, 1879. But in the years since I first walked into this sanctuary in the fall of 1988 and signed the book on March 5th, 1989, I have learned exactly how much this structure means to the congregants of the First Unitarian Church of Hobart. Many people told me about the light, the way the golden light pours into the windows on Sunday mornings, bathing the pews and the people sitting in them in an almost mystical glow. Others talk about the sense of connection, the spiritual bond that they sense when they sit in the pews and look around at the plaques. There's 4 of them. reminders of the historical significance of the founders of our congregation. And yes, there are a few who wonder if any ghosts haunt this building. And there is at least one person I know who has encountered a ghost within these walls. The Empty Circle Zen Sangha has been meeting here for at least 35 years, and members also feel a real connection to this space. When I first got here, and for a long time afterward, the cover of the Order of Service featured a drawing of our sanctuary in the parish hall with a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. "I love the silent church before the service begins. I know I'm not alone with loving the quiet sanctuary. On days when I am at church doing work, I go into the sanctuary occasionally and sit quietly and merely absorb the atmosphere, memories of congregants who have passed, and again, the light from the windows. Our sanctuary is big enough to fairly comfortably seat 100 people, and yet not so big that we lose sight of the fact that we are one big family, sharing an hour or so on Sundays wherein we expand our horizons, take spiritual journeys, join together in seeking social justice, sing robustly, and sometimes out of tune, and share our joys and sorrows." Before I started here, there had already been changes to the building. You can see from the photo on the cover of the Order of Service that we once had a very tall steeple. Stories vary as to why we no longer have it, much to the dismay of one of the people on Hobart's Historic Preservation Commission. Our sanctuary is not only the oldest Unitarian church in Indiana, it is also the only church building in Indiana continuously occupied by the same congregation. In July of 1999, this building became part of the National Register of Historic Places, and in 2010, part of the Lake George Commercial Historic District. What this means is that we cannot make any alterations to the exterior of the building, even if such alterations should improve our energy efficiency, for example, unless they preserve the historic appearance of the outer building and we jump through all the necessary hoops. However, that status does not interfere with improvements to the interior of the building, so we have installed a ramp and a railing on the choir loft, as well as installed the screen on which to project hymn lyrics and children's stories. And of course, the work of maintaining a building as old and as special as this is both time-consuming and costly. But those who have worked with the Buildings and Grounds Ministry in this congregation in all the years I've been here have continually shown their love for this sacred space, and we owe them more than a debt of gratitude. With that debt of gratitude in mind, I end this sermon by thanking you for being patient with the historical journey I've taken you on this morning, and let me now ask Master Farrell, Chair of Buildings and Grounds, to come up here and share a message with you.
Good morning. It's almost over. I won't take too long. For those that don't know me, my name is Tracy. I am the current chair of the Buildings and Grounds team. I've been a member here for 16 years, and I never thought I would ever be up here. But here I am. Not only have I been the Buildings and Grounds chair for the last 6 years, but I've also been the Faith in Action chair, which I never thought I would be. And a president. I'm a past president. I'm in good company for a few years. So that was never something that was ever in my plan the first day I walked in this door. So thank you for having me. Thank you for believing in me. And thank you for everything that you've brought to my life. So, state of the building. I've done this the last couple of years to try and give everyone an idea of where we're at. So I'm just going to get into the nooks and crannies of it. So back in 2021, there was a horrible hailstorm. And we had the roof replaced and the siding and louvers of the steeple replaced with the help of our insurance. So it only cost us $1,000. So we also replaced 3 furnaces and 3 air conditioning units for that were more than 30 years old. So we still have a few to replace, but that did cost us nearly $20,000. It was meant to be a cost savings, but with these current rate hikes through NIPSCO, we are not experiencing those savings. So just to let you guys know, our heating and air conditioning bill was 30% higher than it was a few years ago. So just in retrospect of what December was, I can't wait to see what January brings us. So, but yeah. So my background is in construction, and my specialty was in infrastructure, which is the core of the building, your foundations and your supply lines, everything that comes into the building. That was my specialty in construction. I was in this field for 27 years. So last summer, when James enlisted me and some others to do some upgrades for the IT, we had to squeeze through places that no normal human being would ever enter. The crawl space. Yes. If I can get my head through, the rest of my body gets through. So it's so while under there, I saw some deficiencies that I just could not ignore. After consulting with our partner, Indiana Landmarks, we hired a structural engineering firm, a local structural engineering firm, to confirm my suspicions. We were awarded an emergency grant through Indiana Landmarks for the entire amount of that structural engineering work that they did. So, after a thorough examination of the entire building, so they did the entire envelope of the building, they did the roof, everything. The building is in really good condition. So, other than one key aspect, this floor that we're standing on. So, after a thorough examination, they saw this, they gave us the report. We need to replace the entire flooring system, right down to the supports. Luckily, the flooring system is independent of the rest of the structure. So repairs, rework to the envelope of the building will be minimal. But we will need to retrofit ductwork and electric to fit the new layout and bring everything else up to code. Along with the floor, our beautiful 10-foot tall arched windows have seen better days. There's some major issues with some rotting wood on the outside because we don't have storm windows on those. So that's something that we're also looking to address while we have this building emptied out. We may take the windows apart and have them rebuilt. So. There are a few other things that are in my peripherals to address, but we're going to open that up as we get to it. So, how are we going to afford all this, do you say? Is that what I heard? Well, I'm glad you asked. Our board has assembled a fantastic team to harness not only our powers and talents, but those outside these doors that have the means to help. So Janet, Maggie, Lynn, Reverend Kathy, and myself will be launching a capital campaign very soon to fund all this work. We are currently in communications with other churches that have had similar issues and are starting to search for a consultant to guide us around the pitfalls we may encounter. I'm not saying we won't have to sacrifice something here and there. The same would be said for most of us if we had a failure in our homes. What I am saying is that it's time for us to roll up our sleeves and get ready. Whatever you bring to the table, that's what I need you to do. No gift is too small, even if it's just your time. We are all family here, and as a family, we will come out of this a little stronger and a little better. I do have a little more to add. I was rereading the resignation letter of our custodian, and it kind of inspired me to think a little more churchy. I guess that's the word I'm going to use. So, and I want to read a little snippet first of what they wrote. So, kind of puts things in perspective for me a little bit. So, in my time here, I've forged relationships that have helped me change for the better, ones that I hope last a lifetime. And I've received support beyond what I could ever imagine. This job has helped me find my footing in a lifetime where I've never stood on stable ground. This community and the people the people in it have helped me establish a foundation that I am proud to build a life up from. There will never be enough big fancy words to describe the gratitude, appreciation, and love I've had for this job, as well as the community in my short time here. So that made me write this. So, as I wrote this, I was rereading the resignation letter of our current custodian, Basil Lehman. And it reminded me of what it reminded me that a church is not a building. It's the people who gather here. The importance of the building is the beacon it's been for the generations of people who have found it through the darkness, and why it must shine on, especially now, for the generations to come. That's me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Please rise and body your spirit and join in singing hymn number 354, We Laugh, We Cry. It's in the gray hymnal, and the words will be on the screen.
reciting the words on the screen or in your order of service to accompany our extinguishing of the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts
until we are together again. The benediction is a poem by Mary Oliver. In the Unitarian Church, we call her Saint Mary. Wild geese, you do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert, repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body loves what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself up to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
Hold my hope, 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 hold my hope. Hold my hope, hold my hope.
Thank you all for showing up today on this rather rough day weather-wise, and please join us in the parish hall for goodies and great conversation. Thank you.